Gabbard, we have so much breaking news today in our politics lead. We are standing by to hear from President Trump. He's set to give remarks any moment on a summit about AI or artificial intelligence. The question, of course, will he sidebar in any one of the many stories breaking right now? First of all, the Wall Street Journal reporting that U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi told President Trump back in May that his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files. She characterized it as unverified hearsay about Trump, and hundreds of other names are in those files as well. Just days ago, Trump was directly asked whether Bondi had told him his name was in the Epstein files.
She told you at all that your name appeared in the files.
He's given us just a very quick brief, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
Not really a denial there. According to the Wall Street Journal report, she briefed him that his name was in the files in May. We should note, just to remind you, it was on June 5th that Elon Musk, in the midst of his breakup with President Trump, posted on X that Trump is in the Epstein files, which is the real reason they have not been made public, according to Elon Musk, in a tweet that he has now since deleted. Also breaking right now, relatedly, a judge in Florida has rejected the Trump administration's request to unseal pertinent parts of the grand jury testimony in the investigations into Epstein and his partner, Ghislaine Maxwell. This as Republican House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer this afternoon announced that he has subpoenaed Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition on August 11th. This while House Republican leaders truncated congressional business, at least partly, to avoid a vote, to dodge a vote, forcing the release of the Epstein files. The president, clearly exasperated by this issue, last night at a House Republican reception, gave his troops these marching orders.
Remember this, Obama cheated on the election. And we have it cold, hard, blue, and it's getting even more so because the stuff that's coming in is not even believable. So, and you should mention that every time they give you a question that's not appropriate, just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election. You'll watch the camera turn off instantly.
Operation Change the Subject seems right now focused on, as you heard from the president there, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's report, making all sorts of assertions about President Obama's activities in 2016. Gabbard was deployed to the White House press briefing earlier today to offer details of allegedly, quote, treasonous behavior by Obama and aides in allegedly manipulating intelligence to support the theory that Russia sought to swing the 2016 election in favor of Trump. This report from Gabbard, we should note, goes against a 2020 bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee assessment, including an endorsement from then Senator, now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, that Russia did attempt to interfere in the election. Obama, in response to this Gabbard report and President Trump's attacks, issued a rare statement denying all of this as bizarre and ridiculous allegations and, in his view, a weak attempt at distraction. And we should note there are two conservative journalists who have been critical of Obama in the past who today poured some cold water on Gabbard's report. Eli Lake of the Free Press, who I regularly read, says, quote, as someone who was an early critic of the Russiagate narrative, I can report that Gabbard did not get the goods. And he quotes Andrew McCarthy of the National Review, who told Lake, quote, there is nothing new in what, quote, Gabbard is hyping as a bombshell. So, back to the Epstein story. Let's bring in CNN senior justice correspondent Evan Pettis and CNN's Jeff Zeleny at the White House. So, Jeff, this Wall Street Journal story saying that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, told Trump in May that his name appeared in the Epstein files multiple times as hearsay with hundreds of other names, we should note. And this is not proof that Trump did anything illegal or untoward, but this can't be welcome news for the Trump administration.
Jake, it's not welcome news in the sense of it keeps the questions alive about the Epstein files, the Epstein documents here. The White House, though, not surprised by this. And a White House official is putting it this way. We're not disputing that his name is in the files. We are disputing the president did anything wrong. And that is still the unanswered question here. That is why there is so much juice here into this overall topic. There still are unanswered questions about what the president may or may not have done, what his relationship exactly was, what he knew about his long relationship with the Jeffrey Epstein, etc. So the reason this is not welcome news by the White House is they've been trying to change the subject, as you just pointed out. all day long. And this, of course, returns it back to the original point here, the Epstein file. So the president is going to be speaking, as you said, coming up at this hour, a speech that's expected to be on artificial intelligence. Who knows if this will come up or not. But again, it just sort of shines a light on the fact that for all of the attempts to change the subject and deflect, even through familiar channels of retribution, that still has not worked because there are unanswered questions that the Trump base and many of his officials have been fueling for years.
Now, Evan Perez, let me ask you. So the Trump administration had asked this judge in Florida to unseal pertinent parts of the grand jury testimony for the Epstein case and also Ghislaine Maxwell case. It was unlikely that we were going to learn much new, if anything, from it, but the judge rejected that. So what now?
Well, this is a judge in Florida, Jake. So there are still 2 pending requests in the Southern District of New York. This is where Epstein was charged in 2019 before he committed suicide, also where Ghislaine Maxwell was charged and where she was convicted and is now serving 20 years. This is a request that went to a Florida judge who oversaw federal grand juries in 2005 and 2007. Now, you'll remember that this investigation sort of got put on the shelf when Alex Acosta, the U.S. attorney down there, agreed to let Epstein essentially plead to a sweetheart deal with the state prosecutor down there in Palm Beach County. So these documents it was always a long shot that they were going to be able to get these, but these 2 pending requests in New York, there's still a chance that the Justice Department might be able to get what it wants there. Keep in mind, the judge in Florida said, look, under our rules that govern us over 11th Circuit, we cannot release this. We can't also send it to New York, but New York can release their documents.
Yeah, I mean, the rules are pretty clear that it's only in the rarest of circumstances.
And you point out the right thing, which is that we're talking about a fraction of the number of documents.
Oh, yeah.
Pam Bondi still is sitting on the vast majority of documents.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they could release right this moment. There's also a ton of stuff in the Treasury Department of all the financial records. Follow the money, as they say. Jeff Zellin and Evan Perez, thanks so much. On Capitol Hill, the pressure from House Republicans on their leadership over the Epstein files is not letting up. Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer announced that he is going to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell for a deposition on August 11th, and a subcommittee of the Oversight Committee could vote soon on a subpoena for the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. Let's get right to CNN's chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju. Manu, Trump wants everyone to stop talking about Epstein, but the truth is some of the loudest voices, actually the loudest voices, are coming from his own party.
Yeah, in the MAGA wing of his own party, which has been demanding these Epstein files for years, and now believe that the Trump administration simply has not given enough information, signing on to a legislative effort to call for the release of these Epstein files, and also movement now in a key House subcommittee that is now considering whether to subpoena for the release of all of these Epstein files. Now, I am told by the Republicans on the committee, they believe that this effort, actually pushed by Democrats, will ultimately succeed right now in the committee. It's still considering the measures, considering some Republican amendments. We'll ultimately see how this plays out. But it all require with all the Democrats and one Republican member voting to approve a call for a subpoena to release all of the Epstein files. I caught up with one of those Republican members, Congresswoman Nancy Mace of South Carolina, who indicated to me that she's ready to support a motion calling for a subpoena for the Epstein files. You'll be supporting the motion.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm going to amend the motion to protect the identity of the victims.
What do you think of the Speaker adjourning the House early to avoid this whole fight over Epstein?
This fight's coming no matter, this is here, and I've made it part of my life's mission to protect women and kids, and I think that, I'm ready to take this vote. I think we should take this vote and move forward, move this country forward, and the victims deserve justice, and people deserve transparency is what they want.
And this issue over the Epstein matter has really infiltrated all aspects of the House. Various committees now considering various measures. Democrats seizing an opening here, even though they had really not pushed this issue at all during the Biden years. They now see this divide within the GOP and trying to tie this to any measure that they possibly can, which is why in this subcommittee right now, the Republicans are trying to figure out exactly how to proceed, whether to align themselves with the Democratic effort, calling for a subpoena for all the Epstein files, or whether to try to change the language in any way to make the terms a bit more favorable to them. That is still playing out at the moment, Jake, but no question about it. Trump wants to move on, but you heard that from Congressman Nancy Mace and other Republicans. They're not ready to move on quite yet.
All right, Monty Roger, thanks so much. Much more in the Epstein space. We're going to see if the president touches